Have you ever tried to use AI to reach a journalist and you didn't hear back? I know that really sucks, but it could actually be worse than you think. So the reason you might not have heard back is journalists right now are hypersensitive to AI content and AI pitches in particular. So for those who aren't familiar, a pitch is essentially a note or an email in this day and age that you send to a journalist saying, hey, this is who I am, this is my expertise, this is the kind of insight that I can offer. I'd love to serve as a resource for your reporting and be quoted in your articles. So you're basically trying to explain to them why they should work with you and mention you in their articles. And more now with ChatGPT, Claude, Google Gemini, whatever it might be, people are using artificial intelligence platforms to generate these notes to reporters. But what often happens is that the reporter doesn't just not respond. They put you in what I call a black box, which basically means they send you to spam manually because they see your pitch and they decide that the pitch has a lot of AI content in there. I don't know if this person's real. I don't know if they actually meant to send me this email. I'm putting this into spam. The other thing that could happen is that they have spam filters set up already that are meant to catch AI content and put that content into a spam filter for them before they even see it. So ultimately, they either might not be seeing your message at all, or they're putting you into a spam filter so that they don't ever hear from you again. The number one mistake that I see people making that's getting them blacklisted is that they're not giving the AI a specific enough prompt to get the pitch that ultimately a reporter is not going to blacklist, right? So what I see people often do is they'll go into ChatGPT, for example, and they'll say, hey, ChatGPT, I want to reach the Wall Street Journal and talk to them about my expertise, say, on cybersecurity, right? So all the GPT has from a context perspective is you want to talk about cybersecurity and you are looking to reach the Wall Street Journal broadly. But what if you told GPT, I want to reach this specific reporter, this reporter covers cybersecurity news from this particular way, here's a little bit about me, and here's the kind of expertise that I can offer to the reporter. Now you're giving GPT the context to know this is how I can best situate you based on your expertise and based on what the reporter typically writes about in their writing style. This is the best way that I can situate you to actually make it to the reporter's inbox and have them even interested in you in the first place. Whether or not the copy looks like AI, they still have to be interested in you as a resource. And I'm going to get you to that point now that I have the context. And so from there, GPT will give you that pitch, but it's imperative that you take a look at that pitch to make sure that it's accurate based on, forgetting AI for a second, based on who you're looking to reach, the outlet that they report for, and the reporting style so that that all matches. You might have to go back and forth with GPT a few times to get there, but if you put the time and energy into it, you're going to get a pretty solid start on a pitch that will resonate with the reporter just from an interest level perspective. And I think generally what I see is GPT can get you about 80 to 90% of the way there. The last 10% is just making some tweaks that only your human judgment would be able to make. And then after you get the pitch to that point, it's really key that you go through it to make sure that it doesn't have the AI phrases or phraseology, terms, keywords, etc., that would tip off a reporter or their spam filter. So the basic ones are M dashes, which you've probably heard about, which are those bigger dashes that are randomly placed in the copy when it may or may not make sense, or they're placed in there way too much. Second thing is often there's going to be a rationale that's included in the pitch. Like it'll say something to the effect of, you might have thought this way, but in actuality, it's this. That's very, very common AI language. It's not to mean that it's wrong. It's just overused. So trying to figure out a different way to phrase that up would be really, really important. So those are just some key things to be able to do. And once you take the time to do that and review the copy before you send it over, not only are you going to make it past the reporter's spam filters, but you're also going to have a much better shot of them actually being interested in using you as a resource. And so AI can be an incredibly valuable tool for reaching out to journalists, but you just have to make sure that you take the time to do a double check and also give it the context that it needs to get you from point A to point B and ultimately the successful outcome that you're looking for. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit subscribe for more practical PR tips and strategies, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next one.